with their whole year on the line. And now it's back to the draft, and we got to find out with BLG on blue side, are any of the bans changing? The Draven, the Callista, 7 games in a row now will remain banned out.
Okay, those are going to stay off the table. G2 are banning the Nico away themselves. Remember, when they were on blue last game, that was their first pick. They're saying, we think you'll do the same if given the opportunity. We don't want to let you.
And I wonder, do G2 try to prioritize kill lanes, ways that they can set up and pressure Yagao? Because Yagao, at times, does have these games where he gets behind and he stays behind. He gives up kill after kill after kill. And that's really what put Caps in such a good position, what put Yike in such a good position early. But it is going to be the Orianna left open because they have to ban out the Jax, because they have to add in these kind of flavor picks that BLG are so terrifying on. And with G2 not prioritizing Rumble at all, they still have yet to pick it throughout Worlds, that's likely to go unpicked. Bin, though, doesn't really feel like a Rumble guy either, so it's kind of interesting that neither of these top laners want to play the most highly prized top laner at Worlds.
And talking about highly prized champions, the Orianna being locked in, Yagao's last game, he got pummeled. They just beat him to death. And on a champion like Jace, whose only real role in the game is damage, that meant that he had a real struggle trying to actually contribute. Orianna can at least have utility. She can have big moments with shockwaves.
I will say, though, Orianna to Azir, you can chain dive in a similar way to how you did it last time. Maokai Azir is not an easy duo to escape from, right? You know, you go forward on cooldown post level 6. You're not going to kill him before level 6 likely, but post level 6, you go in every time the Azir ulti is up, force a flash. As soon as that's down, you look for the repeat, you look for that kill. Similar to the Azir Victor matchups that we used to see, this kind of similar strategy. So Yagao is either going to have cover around these timings, or he's going to have to play exceptionally far back, but that can lead you to give up CS, to give up advantages that way as well. So I really want to see if Caps is on point on the Azir, if Yike's on point on that Maokai, as they were in the last game, and Han's going to be locking in the Kai'Sa once again. I think had a really strong showing on it in that second game, and he's going to have to be playing at that level because Elk was on something, man. Like in that second game, he was going crazy on the Zeri late game, and that's what Elk can do to you.
Well, we've got the Renekton for Bin yet again with his Jax banned away. He just wants to lock in this evergreen general strength pick for the top lane. We've got the Jarvan for Xun. Very powerful playmaker, very powerful jungler right now. Rakan banned out by BLG.
So Rakan likely to be Nautilus based on their prio and bans in the last game. So I'm expecting Nautilus to get banned away. It does mean that Rel would be available. It does mean, of course, that you could do Lissandra and stuff, but they're not going to do Lissandra because it really is just a specific answer into that Rakan. So I'm super interested to see where they go. G2 has banned away the Alistar as well as the Aphelios here. So Elk could go back towards something like that Zeri, but G2 obviously less concerned about it.
Yep. What's the final ban going to be here? Is it just the Nautilus?
I think it's Nautilus.
I mean,
unless they're more concerned about a top lane pick. If they think Olaf was problematic, if they think something along those lines is problematic, you could do it. I think Rel is the other option. Okay, so they're going to do Rel. But, I was just thinking Nautilus because that's what they banned first in the last game when they had these options.
Right.
So Nautilus is available for Mickey. Will he go towards it? Is his most played so far at the event. Just 2 games on it. Of course, they haven't played that many games, but has played a couple Nautilus games already.
Yeah, they could lock that in. They could also just go for their top lane pick if they want to see the entire enemy comp before picking support. There it is. They're going to lock in the Gnar for Broken Blade.
That leads me to believe that Mickey's cooking, right? Like that he has something that at least he's considering. If X and Y happen, I will pick, this special pick. I will look for something that can win us the lane in the 2v2, or that is maybe even a compositional counter. So now we have to see BLG pick both of their bot laners. Trist was banned out in the last game, and I love Trist. In this meta, I think it's incredibly strong if you compile it well. But it's going to be Ashe. So now is it going to be Ashe plus Renata? That's my expectation when I do see this. I love this as a duo. I almost don't know what you can pick to win the 2v2 now. Like, you can go Soraka or something super lane focused, but Kai'Sa, I think, is at such a disadvantage against Ashe in that kind of laning phase that even if you pick a really strong support, it would be very, very difficult to get the win in the 2v2. So they're considering some other options, though. They didn't lock the Renata. I thought Renata could have been really nice here, but Braum also a great denial pick. And it does mean that you're going to be diving in potentially to this Braum, but of course, they have some range as well. You can poke and prod with the Kai'Sa once you get some AP. The Azir is long range. You don't have to be fully committing to these fights.
Is
I'm not going to get baited until he locks it.
He locked it.
Okay, so I will say, I love this pick here. I am an absolute Bard enthusiast. Bard against 2 carries without dashes is one of the best setups you can possibly have. You just simply walk within, you have to be about a full screen away. As long as you're not more than that, it's very difficult for them to react. You just point and click, Bard ulti on top of Ashe, on top of Orianna. It is very, very difficult to get out of that without using your flash. And if you have to spend a flash every time Bard ult, it is so tough. And if you do not, well, guess what's going to be coming? You're going to get Bard ulted, and then all of a sudden, as you're coming out of that, Nara's on your head, Maokai's on your head, Azir is there for the pushback, Bard is there for the Q stun. I think this is a really smart pick, though it does have risk, of course, because when Bard goes bad, it can go really bad, but I think this is a perfect setup for it. You can really succeed against Ashe and Orianna, really low mobility carries. That's exactly what you want to see for a Bard angle.
And there it is. You can see the support for G2. If you've ever been on League of Legends Twitter, you've seen Cap's dad. He's always out there supporting his son. It's one of the most wholesome things I've ever seen.
He's just an absolute fountain of positivity, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say. He's going to be in there. He's going to be supporting his kid. He's going to be cheering them on, spreading positivity online, which you love to see. Has definitely made him a fan favorite over the years because it's pretty incredible. He's traveled everywhere with his son and seen him play at the highest heights. So what a cool story and what a cool relationship that they have.
And here he is again now for this final game of the Swiss stage. BLG, the #2 seed from the LPL. G2, the #1 seed from the LEC. One will earn the final spot in knockouts. The other's world's journey ends right here. It all comes down to one game.
All comes down to one game. The joy of victory, the agony of defeat. We have seen it time and time again. But for these two teams, neither of them was expecting to be here in this situation. They both were hoping to have punched their ticket to the quarterfinals 1 round, 2 rounds ago. They were the teams that wanted to be at the top of the table. And now for one, it will be absolute heartbreak. And you have to know that the nerves are going to be really rising up. G2, though, they see this, and they're going to be able to wrap around behind. This is going to be disaster. They could be dead. There's 5 G2 coming, and Elk is going to be collapsed on.
On's just going to run towards them. Elk flashing immediately, but they turn it back instead. Caps is going to be stunned. He tries to get away. It's first blood over to On. The Braum gets the first one.
How many die?
He's under pressure. Elk's looking to turn it right back around again, and BLG grabbing a second kill. G2 should at least be able to get Elk. They're going to grab Yagao as well. It's 2 for 2 in 1.5 minutes.
That is insanity, 2 for 2, but it was a 3v5 for BLG, so the fact that they got that is incredible, because look at top lane. If we can pan up there, it's actually been that pulls the wave, and then it's a TP from Broken Blade, so he's down TP. Both mid laners are down TP. Critically, though, Broken Blade got a kill, so he will have the advantage in that 1v1, and a kill win over to Hans, whereas first blood is on, not where you want it to be. So G2 happier about where the gold went. We have to see, though, can Bin make something happen with the TP advantage?
Wow, that was
insanity, man. They just laid a trap here really, really well. Hans is waiting in this brush, and as soon as he sees them coming up, they already had the Bard and the Azir were right here. They go for that long wraparound play. Broken Blade was moving, Yike was moving. Yagao, On, and Elk, though. Great target selection here, great target fire to be able to get those 2 kills. Because there's a lot of worlds in which this 3v5 could have been a 0 for 3 or a 3 for 1 or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that could have just been game over, lights out, your year is done. It is not that, but it is still a great spot, I think, for G2 overall.
That's the kind of level 1 of 2 teams that are willing to just throw everything into this final game before the knockout stage. Bin versus Broken Blade, that sidestep was huge.
He also made him miss the crunch, I believe, as well, so that really was massive. And now, if you can get that EP advantage, this is what I'm talking about, where the TP advantage can come through. Yike knows Shun could be here, and now he knows they're both there.
Yeah.
But if Shun goes straight up towards topside, this is awkward.
Yagao stunned into the wall. Mickey coming up mid lane.
Okay.
The pressure from the Bard is huge as Shun is winning out in the 1v1, but it's not a 1v1 game. Yike flashing away, keeping himself alive. Shun steals the red, but now Broken Blade may just claim it. Bin's coming up trying to chase him, trying to stop him, but Mickey's gonna pop him. Mickey, the Bard at level 2 with the roam to get it done as Bin goes in
and takes the red right back. This game is madness. The Croc is waiting on cooldowns. He has to try to get away from this one. 4 seconds on the slice. Broken Blade and Yike will not hunt him down in time.
They can't keep chasing. They know the cooldowns will be back up. If they walk in that brush, Bin could kill them off. This game is insanity. Shun just going fully into the enemy jungle there, fighting them off. Even with the roam from Mickey, it just becomes parity. And now Bin got such a CS advantage because he had the push, the wave bounced. While Broken Blade moved from the tower, he was losing minions, and that is so painful as a top laner. And now he has no TP as well. Great binding there from Mickey, but Bin in a fantastic spot now on that top side, and we know the magic that he can work when he gets a lead.
What an early game from both teams. 6 kills in 4.5 minutes. You don't even often see that in solo queue, man. This is a qualifier match for the knockout stage of Worlds.
And what else could you want from it? These two teams evenly matched, going back and forth here. Both supports on the roam, both junglers around mid here as well. Mickey's coming.
Mickey trying to answer the roam from On, who just wants to allow Yagao to shove this wave up. Shun is here in top side. If they get the stun from Renekton, the flag combo is guaranteed. Broken Blade doing a good job getting away for now. He uses the hop to try to get out, but they've still got the dive. Yike wanted to try to come up and cover, but BLG get the job done in time.
And now it's disaster. This is what I was talking about. If you can punish the missing TP, you lose so much more as Broken Blade than what you gained from that kill on the bottom side. Because he has no TP. Look at the CS disadvantage. He's going to walk back. The entire wave will be dead and pushing to his opponent. Bin will base now with likely 2,000 gold is what I'm going to estimate, but we'll see if Elk can get out.
Yeah, Elk's in some trouble. Sidestepping away from it. Nicely done. Plasma proc might still bring him down, and it's Mickey getting the kill.
Great sidesteps from Elk, but again, Mickey so active on the map here. He's been everywhere, and they're able to get that kill. It's huge, because yes, Bin is ahead, but Elk got no kill in that skirmish in that level 1. Now is going to lose so much as well. And if you'd rather have someone be behind, you'd way rather have, I think, your Gnar be behind than your Ashe. So Han's going to be in a position to really have some work to do in this game. We'll see if he can get it done. As Yike just scrapping here, push back in, maybe a little bit early. Broken Blade was on the roam, so he wanted to go for it. And there's the flash forward, as well as the flash out. And Shun able to get the heal with that smite. If he doesn't get the smite, he's already dead, and this fight is just a complete disaster. Instead, it's the forced flash from Mickey, but Bin goes in. There's no flash on Mickey, and he has W. He has no E, so he can't get out. He can't E over the wall. There's no magical journey to take. And then the dive here, the follow-up onto Broken Blade was so big. Broken Blade knew he had to jump early because if you allow Bin to get in range and stun you, you're just dead. So instead, they walk up, they use the W to slow on the Jarvan. They follow up with the flag and drag. They get the easy kill, but Mickey's right back to bot side. And even with the cleanse and the great moves here from Elk, sidestep on both the binding and the W, it at least gets the flash off of Hans, but it's another really good move here from Mickey and from G2.
What a close game. BLG up a couple of 100 gold, but that could just be the difference between a wave having not bounced yet. As Hans Sama's forced back away underneath this turret. Close farm in every lane not called top.
I mean, that's just the Bin diff. He has been incredible throughout this series. Game 1 on the Jax, monster performance. They're going for Elk again, though.
Elk gets slowed by the binding, flashes away so the Void Seeker can't hit him, fires the volleys back. It's Shun and On nearby at the Drake, looking to take that one. But now, Mickey and Yike and even Caps are all looking at this. The Drake's gonna reset. BLG are getting a little hyphy for this one. Yagao's level 6 in the Orianna. Bin making a rotation down here with Renekton as well. Broken Blade has a TP as the Gnar to be able to join if he needs to. BLG still going after the Drake. G2 not willing to challenge. You can see Yike channeling the recall. They're not gonna go in for this one. BLG will take the objective.
But again, look at the wave bot, right? There's no minions that are going to be collected down here. They're going to try to send Elk to mid because they know our Ashe is getting no farm. We need to get this guy some gold or Elk is going to be out of the game. You can see his buys are really, really rough. Bin is going to go back up towards topside to try to collect this wave. He's been very active on the map early, which has kind of afforded Broken Blade, both in Game 2 and Game 3, some time to catch back up and try, to really collect that gold back. But this has been the tough spot, right? Because Yagao has to go bot to cover the wave because Elk couldn't get there. So Elk bases, he's going to go out mid, and they're going to change up the lane assignments. But Hans is 2 levels up now on your Ashe and has a very significant gold lead here. It is already 700 gold lead to Hans in this bot lane matchup. And Ashe is one of those lower damage ADs. You know, if you don't have really good itemization, you're not doing much besides volley and ult. So
yeah,
it's going to be tough, but they have to also still respect that because if he can find a good arrow here on Caps, he could get 100-0'd.
Mickey rotating up, trying to help him, but the arrow misses. Caps with the nice sidestep.
G2 are
the
coming.
plays he has to make. G2 is ready to collapse. Broken Blade has the Gnar bar. On's only at half HP. The Herald still not killed off just yet. They want to go in for the Gnar and try to kill him, but he transforms in time. Herald down to 800. It's going to be smited away. Finn with a flash stun, but Mickey goes on a magical journey. Caps tries to escape. Yike barely staying alive here and now, but Ben gets a killing spree. Broken Blade back over the wall. BLG get the 1 kill. Ben still chasing after Broken Blade. Not quite gonna find him. The Herald picked up by On's Braum.
Yep, they're gonna be able to get the Herald and the kill there. Really surprised they were able to make that happen. After the Ashe ult missed, I thought the BLG were gonna have to back it up. But instead, they're able to make it happen, and they're gonna drop the Herald immediately for Elk. Again, they realize the situation is somewhat dire for Elk. We need to get gold into our Ashe's pocket. They're only able to crack that 1 plate because there was no chip damage on the turret whatsoever. This is slightly after the Ashe had used the ulti here. I like that BLG immediately pounced on a Broken Blade because what happens is it forces him to use the ulti as a disengage. He can't actually use that as the big team fight tool that you would want it to be. And with that missing, Bin finds the angle straight in to the back line. The magical journey does get Mickey out, but Yike falls down. And it is the Herald going the way of BLG. Again, just pushing and prodding, forcing cooldowns, forcing opportunities that are really opening the door for them to make something happen. And you can see in that total of gold, it's Hans and it's Bin up at the top there. Stridebreaker already completed for Bin, so it's not a Gore Drinker game. He knows that he wants to play heavily towards the side lane, and that's about the chase down on this ranged champion, the Gnar.
And we've been talking about how the Gnar has been having a tough time. He's getting out farmed to the Bin diff. He still has more gold than Elk. So both of these players are the ones suffering the most right now. Caps gonna be knocked up into the air. Shockwave on top of the Jarvan means Yagao gets paid.
It's another good move there from BLG. And with Caps having no TP, that's a free plate. That's 1 auto for Yagao. So it's a kill and a half thereabouts for him. On is trying to roam to kind of match the movement from Mickey, but the difficulty is Mickey can get back to lane faster, and here's that Stridebreaker.
It just gives you so much sticking power. Broken Blade is forced to flash. He flashes at the same moment that Bin presses the R key, so at least he gets the Dominus as a trade. But that is going to be reality for Broken Blade for quite a while.
It really is, and if Bin even wants to go more heavily towards it, you can even go Swifties and really run this guy down, and it becomes a nightmare because you have the slow resistance on the Q as well. Maybe he's going to feel that's building too much towards that 1v1, but Bin in a great spot. The TP comes back in. And they could be looking at dive. I'm looking at Jarvan. They're going to go for this dive potentially here. There's no flash on Broken Blade, but he is getting close to Mega. This would be risky.
It could be another punish. Shun is going to take the turret aggro for now. Drops the flag on top of him. They don't want to overcommit for it. Meanwhile, Twisted advance here in the bottom lane. They want to bring in the Braum to try to save the Ashe. Mickey going to take the damage here at the start. The Braum dropping the ulti here in the turret, but a TP is coming in to reinforce for BLG. Hans, Yike, Mickey, all going on a magical journey straight to Blast Cone City. Get the hell out of town, boys. It's not looking good.
Yeah, good job on the disengage there. They're able to get out. They get the TP again off Bin, who's just been so active on the map. So again, it buys time for Broken Blade to push that out. And critically, Caps moved down and cut off Yagao, who was trying to make the roam down, because when G2 retreat up into the jungle, if Yagao collapses, it could be a disaster for G2. But Caps making a good move, pulls down, keeps Yagao away from that bot side. Still pretty well handled by BLG in that attempt to dive. We'll meet another plate, likely going to Caps. And we have got ourselves a very even game. It's not even going to be 1,000 gold, the difference.
And we got 10 seconds until Drake number 2 is on the table. Remember that BLG took the first one. G2 jockeying for position around it, thinking about contesting it, but ultimately decided not to. We'll see if they want to change that here for this one. You can see 3 players on the G2 side in this bottom side jungle.
Some big item completions coming through, though, on both sides. Gore Drinker done for Shun. Yagao just based and got his loot in. So you can see Demonic done on the other side there for Yike, as well as the Storm Raider for Hans. But I feel like BLG are in a much stronger position right now, especially with Bin again moving. He's been so active on the map, constantly moving towards the team. He creates a big advantage against Broken Blade, and then he gets active on the map. But there's a cost to this, and that is allowing Broken Blade to push out waves for free, allowing this wave to crash, so you're going to lose end of plate, if not 2, going over to Caps. And we have to remember he got 1 in mid lane as well, so Caps is getting a lot of free gold on this map, but Bin's behind him.
Bin coming in, looking for Caps here. Finds the slow with a stride breaker. Dice is back around him on the other side. Wanted to try to avoid the ulti if he could, but there's no way to do it. You talk about, oh my goodness, hold on now. Broken Blade looking for Elk, wants to stop him, but now On jumps in. Winner's bite, focus fire. Broken Blade is down. Elk gets himself a kill.
Broken Blade trying to go for the big play there, wanted to scoop him into the tower and clear the wave at the same time, but critically there was 1 minion left, and now Bin. Flash is coming up, he has Dominus. He could look for Caps here. We'll see if he wants to go for the play.
He goes for the slice, finds the stun. Caps, good job with the shifting sands to buffer through the CC and get himself away.
Exactly, very quick there from Caps. Great reaction from him, but they're looking again for Elk, who has no flash.
Glacial Fissure over the wall, a lot of damage here into Mickey. He saves himself for a moment. Hans looking to take down Elk. He's gonna get him, and Mickey lives. Meanwhile, the dive coming out from Bin, but Cap stays alive too. Massive moves coming out from G2 as Shun wants to go in and find that mid laner and finish what Bin started. The dunk goes through. It's good, and BLG finally gets something back here. Now they're going to take the tier 1 turret on the top side as well.
They're going to be able to get this tower, but G2 still staying so active on the map here, and Hans has been the benefactor of some of that action. Being able to, the beneficiary of some of that action, being able to get some of that.
I don't know the difference. That's the same word to me.
Was able to receive the rewards, let's say, as Mickey is staying so active on this map. And here's the Broken Blade play. Again, he wants to clear out this entire wave, doesn't quite get that last range means the tower doesn't go immediately on him, and then On is just right here. W's in, gets the passive up on him. But again, Mickey so active on the map, makes the move down, the long magical journey here. In comes Han. It's a great peel from Bin, though, to really make him work for it. I love the self-ulti from Mickey, as he would have surely gone down there. They do proc the stun onto Hans, but it's 1 auto away from getting that kill onto Mickey. Mickey really riding that line. And then here's this dive up on the top side. Flash, stun, shockwave. But the flash out, the shifting sands, means that it had to be Shun coming in, had to be more committed. Shun was not wanting to mess around because they knew the Broken Blade could be coming, so he looks for the flash ulti. At the very least, G2 force out those additional cooldowns.
Yup, Bin's back up in the top side now. His TP almost ready to go. You know, in League of Legends, we joke around. We talk about top laners being on an island. Bin's an aircraft carrier. He's the size of an island, but he moves around. This man is not afraid to get out atop and move that weight to the rest of the team, as Caps is going to be thrown back by the shockwave. Stun into the turret thanks to the Bard. Yagao is low, stays alive with the Guardian proc from the Braum, and the arrow from Elk from a long way away finds the first target. Yike, flashing out of the Cataclysm's walls, dropping the Nature's Grasp to stop BLG's pursuit.
Nicely done. Going to be able to disengage there. But Yagao barely stays alive. Critical for him. It is Broken Blade again, pushing on that top side, not going to join. Bin TPs once more down towards bot side. Such a focus on being able to group. And G2 are playing a massive focus on side lanes. They want to push out. They want to hit towers. They want to scale. They want to play it that way. Spread the map and look for picks. And I think it's really intelligent when you are playing with the Bard. Bard doesn't want to just walk into 5v5 after 5v5. Bard wants people answering a side lane that you can then pick off with Magical Journey into that Bard ulti. So that is why G2 are so heavily focusing on it. Here it is one more time, though. Mickey setting up with the flash, but the initial shockwave to pull back Caps made it a lot harder for G2 to really commit. And that Guardian coming in from On, making such a difference. The arrow there as well from Elk, from downtown connects. But thankfully for Yike, he's able to disengage here with the flash and the ulti.
So with 2 Drakes already in BLG's possession, the third will spawn in under a minute now. It's about a 3,000 gold lead for the LPL number 2 seed. Can G2 try to fight for this next Drake? It is a Chemtech soul. This is generally considered the least valuable one.
Yeah, and I think G2 are really happy about that. You're down 2 dragons, your life on the line here, you're down thousands of gold. And if this was a Hextech soul, they probably feel like they have to fight for it. With Chemtech, you're probably willing to just give it up. Nice
Nicely
ulti
done.
there. Unfortunately, it just buys time, and Mickey may just die for it.
Yeah, Mickey going on the magical journey, though, gets away. Initially, they were worried about chasing him, but I think now they realize, let's get this dude. BLG. Shun is on a killing spree, and now they're going to continue pushing. They may have stopped the charge on the Tier 1 turret, but the Tier 2 falls. The Tier 3 may be next. G2, where are you? What is going on here? Hans Sama and Yike cannot move forward and stop it. They're just not going to stick around any further. They don't care about the inhib this early. Tier 3 turret smashed. 18.5 minutes into the game. The base is now open.
Yeah, BLG are just going to group, and they're going to push. They're going to try to punish here. Broken Blade did get a tower on top side, and Caps will push down bot, so they will at least get 2 Tier 1s for that. You can see the goal difference over time, powered by AWS, though, heavily in the favor there of BLG. It's kind of up and to the right besides that little dip down now. And they are going to grab that third dragon, but at the very least, it is the weakest soul. It does give you some hope that, hey, G2, even if you lose the soul, it's not necessarily a death sentence. And they're trying to get as much gold on these carries as they can. And then maybe you have that big moment where you can come back in a fight. You win a fight at the fourth dragon, you get that dragon, you deny soul, you take Baron, you're trying to look for that sort of thing.
Take the Elder.
Yeah.
Let him have the Kimtech Dragon if you absolutely have to, and then go for the Elder if you can get the money at that time.
Yeah, we'll see. Even though it is weak, it's still a soul though, right? So they have to really make that judgment because it is definitely the weakest, but it's still thousands of gold worth of stats, right? And especially on some of these champions, like a Renekton, who is likely to throw themselves in the middle of a fight, get low, and then get value out of it, it makes you that much harder to deal with.
I mean, there's 3 mega objectives in the game. There's Baron, there's Elder Dragon, and there's Dragon Soul.
Yeah.
Even if it's the weakest mega objective, the word mega is still in there.
It's like, come on, man, that's like the least cool Ferrari you could have.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're still driving a Ferrari.
It's still pretty cool. So BLG are liking the game state they're in right now. Again, about 3,500 gold lead. They've got the 3 Drakes. Elk is still trying to maintain some relevance here. He's almost got his second item done with a Mythic. The Kraken Slayer is completed, working towards that Trinity Force.
Yep, exactly. And this is actually a pretty high damage build. I think people do sometimes underestimate, as long as he stays close to parity, you really can put out some damage, especially when paired with that Braum, create the space. And he is only about 600 gold behind. He was down 700 gold, I want to say like 3 to 5 minutes into the game behind Hans. So the fact that he's only down 600 now, not really a big deal. And has a little bit of additional combat stats, obviously, with those couple dragons that they have grabbed. BLG, though, trying to move in towards this top side, deny vision. They want to take away these camps, and they're looking for Mickey.
Another good shot from Elk. They may have set him behind, but he's on one of the best utility 80 carries in the game, and he's still making his presence known.
And G2 have to be careful because they didn't use Shockwave or Jarvan ult for that. They did not overcommit. They spent just the Braum and the Ashe ulti there, and there's the Shockwave.
Shockwave on Caps, but he gets away with the shifting sands. Shun falling back as the Acathian Rain from Hans Sama scares him away a little bit, but hey, they got what they came for. They got the kill, they got the tier 2.
But it was nice from Caps. He gets out, and they get the flash off of Shun. So that is down, but the gold lead is building. About 5,000, well, now exactly 5,000 gold there for BLG. They will reset. They're going to buy up their items. And it's solo AP game for Yagao, and he's going fully flat pen, which I love when you're the solo threat AP.
Yes,
he
sir.
has the Shadow Flame, he's got the Sork Boots, he's got the Ludens. There are going to be some Merc Treads because there's some decent CC, but that's not going to be that much. When he gets towards the third item, you're going to be terrified because he's going to hit third item, he's going to hit 16, and Yagao's going to be at that point of the game where if Hans or Caps get caught, they are just going to die to the Shockwave combo.
Total damage dealt this game. It's Elk on top of the charts, despite the way the early game looked. Still putting in that work.
Look at Mickey, though. Mickey, third highest damage in the game.
I mean, the man knows how to play some Bard.
Oh, yeah. He's
been everywhere.
He's been everywhere. He's really making it happen. But we're seeing kind of both sides of the coin when you do play Bard. You can be such a playmaker, but you are still very vulnerable. Even when you go for the more tanky builds, he's got Mercs, he's got Locket. But when he gets tagged by an Ashe Arrow, you're kind of just dead.
He's got 80% kill participation. He's also got nearly 50% death participation. So
he's making stuff happen.
Yeah, Bard is definitely, you live by the Bard, you die by the Bard. Let's see, it's 22.5 minutes into the game. Baron is alive, but this has been Baron's been quite a contentious place this world.
It really has. And so while G2 are still down in gold, 2 items are coming through. And this is generally when you go up behind, you talk to pros, they'll tell you this, you want to fight around item completion. So sure, you're down gold, but it's 2 item completion, 2 item completion. BLG will not have their third items, very likely, before this soul point fight, right?
So you
and
take
so,
that.
Exactly. So that means that is your time to fight. And that's what G2 were farming for. That's what G2 were pushing for. They're trying to get to their second item before their opponents get the third, because components are much less efficient than completed items. So this is when the gold lead is going to mean the least, basically. And I do think that G2 are going to fight for soul. If they elect not to, I would be surprised. But it's a really hard call to make, because if you fight at soul and you lose, they get soul, they get Baron, it's probably lights out.
The big difference I'm looking at right now is in top and jungle, because that's where you have the two fully completed items compared to not, and it's also where there's stopwatches. Look at these stopwatches on BLG. It is a clock shot. All 4 of the top players have them. Only Braum is missing one.
Yep, they are getting them for everybody at this point, because they know this could be their year on the line. This fight, you win this fight, and maybe the series is over. So G2 fighting for mid Cryo, I don't think they want to give it up. I think they are going to look for it, but it's going to be all down to the engage. Can you find the beautiful Bardol? Can you find the beautiful Ashall? Can you have that follow-up? So much pressure on these 10 players right here, right now.
Keep your eyes on Elk, keep your eyes on Mickey. Those long-range engages, they can catch people off guard. Also looking at Cap, 0-3-0 right now on the Azir. We have praised this guy. We have praised how many times he has been a part of the biggest victories that Europe has had on the international stages.
Dragon now active, and G2 clearly were trying to threaten, hey, we could start topside, we could go towards that Baron, we could do this, but now they're going to send down Xun and Yagao and get this Dragon, and G2 are no longer in position to actually fight for it. They've moved up towards the top side, they've based on Yike and Broken Blade, so they're saying, you know what, we don't have the angle, we can't fight here.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's the difference in those completed items. It's Yike and Broken Blade, the ones that have to go back, because they're the ones that didn't have the completions. Now Elk, mistiming there on the binding from Mickey afterwards. It's not like it would have stunned him anyway, but it doesn't connect at all. So that's Bard ulti down. Cap with a nice shuffle back, but now it's gonna be a Cataclysm on the 2. Hans forced to flash away as the Twisted Advance tries to stop BLG from going forward. Instead, it's gonna be a flash from Ben. Ruthless Predator to stun up the enemy jungler. Focus Fire comes through. One more hit, and Yike is down. G2 falling back towards the mid lane, but remember, there's not even a tier 3 turret to protect them. BLG has control over the rift, control over the jungle, control over the Baron pit.
Yeah, that's the critical thing. They get the kill there. They force the flash off Hans, off Caps, off Yike, but they chase down Yike. They focus him down, and they get that kill. And G2 now, hearts in their mouths. No, this game is falling away from them. They're down 5K. They've lost the soul. Hans gonna try to find an angle for Baron Seal. This would be heroic if he could do it.
No, not quite. I respect the attempt. You gotta go for something there.
Have to.
That's about all you could go for. BLG, let's take another look at how this started. The Bard ulti being down is big.
The Bard ulti being down, and On and Bin don't give him an angle. They don't run straight at Mickey to get that binding. So On just throws the ulti out immediately towards the carries to keep them back. Caps here gets ulted in, as does Hans, and it means both of them have to flash out. Yike is here to peel. He's trying to keep them safe, but Bin commits the flash, goes for it. The constant slows there from the focus fire of Elk, stepping up, knocking down G2's jungler. Means they get the Baron, and now they're on the march here. You are now one fight away from your year ending. G2 have to rally, have to find an angle.
It's so tough. It's so tough, man. It's Soul plus Baron plus 7,000 gold. That's what the lead for BLG looks like. G2, they gotta try to defend here. Remember, that inhibitor's already exposed. This happened at 18.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and you look at the waves. Top is pushing, bot is pushing, mid is open. This is a potential play for a triple inhib here, but Yike is maybe looking for an angle, trying to see, hey, can we find something? Broken Blade has the Megan already, so if they don't go now, they're not gonna go, and that's gonna mean you're giving up a second inhibitor, so G2 now faced with that call. Do you make a move here, or do you just seed this bot lane tier 2, potentially even seed this tier 3 bot as well?
Yeah, the tier 2, I don't think there's any way they're gonna try to defend that tier 2. It's so risky. And BLG backing away from the wall as they see the Ornn transformed into Mega, not giving them the opportunity to try to make that play. Broken Blade transformed back into Mininar. Ash ulti hits Hansama, forces out the cleanse. Tier 3 turret here in the bottom lane, almost killed already. Elk and the cannon minions putting in the work. Inhibitor under fire.
And that's the thing, Broken Blade had his Meganar on cooldown, so if you weren't gonna fight there, you couldn't fight for the bot lane inhibitor. He's trying to charge it up now, but look at the top wave as well. This has just been beautifully set up. they have that wave already ready. So now you can just go around the horn, straight up to top side. G2 haven't been able to clear that up, and now it's Baron buff by BLG. They're TPing in here with a third item completed for Yagao. BLG going for the throats, and G2, if you don't go now, you're giving up triple inhib because Broken Blade's gonna not have Mega again.
On's at about half HP, but the rest of BLG are standing tall right now. Caps trying to clear out these waves. Shockwave whiffs.
That's big. Not going to be able to catch Caps there. He's been so good on these shifts back to dodge out on some of these skill shots, but this is the problem. They're not finding the angle to fight, and it means you're giving up everything. That's triple inhib. Now the Bard ulti comes. They got to go.
They got to go now. Nature's Grasp coming out, seeing if they might be able to lock him down, but no! Hansama is already dead! Caps hit by the arrow! Shun's ready to jump in and try to take this guy down! He goes golden! Caps should die here! Yagao is on a killing spree! BLG are gonna win it right now! Mickey goes on a magical journey back to his own Nexus, back to his own fountain, and that will do it! The last vestige of the LEC is wiped from Worlds 2023, and BLG earn their spot in the quarterfinals.
BLG march forward towards the knockouts, towards the quarterfinals, and you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4 LPL teams still alive in this tournament. G2 really made them work for it, battled back admirably in game number 2. But the team fighting from BLG was so on point throughout this entire series, really showcasing their emphasis on grouping, on 5v5, on how they set up the fights, on how they orchestrate those. Even ignoring side lanes at a lot of times. You saw it even from Bin. Creating the individual advantage, always taking it to the team, not spending it to try to extend his own advantage. It was all about the team play. How they got Elk back into this game as well when he was put down was really impressive. How they play around him, how they put that emphasis on making him succeed. It's a 5-man game, and they really exemplified that in this one. But G2 gonna take a deserved bow, not the finish of the tournament that they wanted, but they did take down DK. They did take down Weibo. They took a game off of BLG as well, and that's something that they can be proud of.
G2, we're talking about the coordination of BLG and how it won them this series. G2 had a lot of really well-coordinated plays too. They were trying to roam around the map. They were trying to make the same plays. BLG did it better, but G2 went down swinging. The level won this game. We had 6 kills at 4.5 minutes. It was even 3-3. They came out fighting. I love the fact that they started playing